Yo, what's up, everyone? All right, got 11 in. I'm late, later than my normal time, so I don't expect the normal numbers. So let's go ahead and get started for the most part. So I do want to point out we're still running this for 4 more days. So if you haven't taken advantage and you want to, make sure you get that before December 5th. So we had a lot of people take advantage of it. So all right, so we only have a few today, which is probably pretty good. So I don't do any 3-hour streams, but first we've got, find it. All right. All right, we got B&B for the dollar from Demonlay. Got a 1 in, got a WXY into 2, so it got us coming down to 500. I mean, really, it looks like crypto market's right on the edge of pushing higher or pulling back. And I don't really know which one. You know, if you're not sure, it's not the time to guess. Not the time to stay in the market. If you don't know, just get out, wait for clarity. That's kind of what I've done. I'm scalping here and there, but as far as going balls deep in positions I'm holding, I am not. Yeah. I've got Bitcoin at the low, taking majority of those profits. So looks like last time I looked at this, it was off a perfect pull, basically just consolidation if it's a triangle. I didn't go through and dig it out, but just sideways consolidation. This is 3 days, so this is pretty long before it broke out. So 180 days. So basically I just did typical thrust. We didn't get up here, so take that off. All right, so it looks like the monthly this month barely by 20 cents lost that monthly. Now I don't know how you want to look at that, you could think of it as holding, because I mean that's extremely close. But I would be watching. All right, so we popped above 4 hour. And so far, this is just a rejection of this daily. We do have a daily order block here as well, multiples. Another one there, but you can see rejected here, rejected here. So no real higher high divergence. I guess here you've got a little bit, but I mean, from back here, but I don't see a ton. I guess you could say here, but on RSI you don't see a ton. But I guess I would just say if we lost and rejected 622, that would be slight 4-hour divergence. That would be enough for me to think at least to move down. Confirmation for me of going down would be order block, losing the Monte zone down to the golden zone, rejecting the Monte zone, rejecting the monthlies, monthly open, and heading down. So we got POC at the 50 there, so lose that. I think that more confirmation. Let's see what Yeah, so you can see the fork how we got deviated out of it back in. Slight deviation, this time less. So I think our key is right here at the monthly. Lose that. You can't get back above this 628, 630 area. Then likely market's heading a little bit lower. It looks like he had anywhere from 500 to 522. And I've got, I mean, if it's coming down to this median where it touched down here last, I can see that as well. They shut you back down, Bird? Things shutting down in your area because of the new variant? Alright, so I think that's really all I can work with for now. Until we get this move down here. It really hasn't lost much. It looks like we're heading down currently, but we haven't broke it yet, so. Alright, next you had XRP. So we hit the resistance I had at the 135 area and just came down hard. Like, because we lost the dollar, I think, and you can see right here, tops, bottoms, consolidation, coming back up into here. 105 is now going to be hard to break. Hang on just a second. I could probably talk louder, Bird, if that helps. Just got a message saying I could probably turn up mic. If y'all can't hear me, y'all just let me know. I can either speak up or turn the gain up a little bit on my mic. Let me see. All right, is this better or worse? I think I should probably be close to the red now. I don't want to blow y'all out. All right, XRP. I know in one live stream that I did, I basically said this could be the move. You know, if we reject this perfect pull, we could come all the way back down. And I remember setting this alert, buy XRP leverage for financial freedom and Ferraris. Dot coming down. Looks like whole market's kind of dropping a little bit. Bitcoin coming back down into this area I want it, really. All right. 1 second. $55. Golden zone on arithmetic. 55,600 basically, and that's where I'm interested at this. We do have value area low of this area, right? 56,200. All right, but this was my XRP chart. It's based off of Bitstamp. It's a high time frame, 24 hours, but we lost this daily OB here. And now we're rejecting the daily that we were above. All right, we were above it all in here. Deviated under, tested it up, rejected. Now we're under it and rejecting again. So doesn't mean we can't hold this deviation 50 and come back up, but potentially market's going to continue to drop. I mean, value area low of this range right here is where we tested. So market looks like it, I mean, it is ready to punish somewhat, right? Those that are just ready for moon, not understanding that we can go lower. And typically the market does punish right before the bigger move comes. So these dinosaur coins have kind of been a little bit slower, of course. Like EOS, XTZ, you've had the new coins going like crazy, but looks like at 77 for the end of the Y. I could see 79, 77, something like that. It doesn't have to get down to this perfect pull, but the reason I said that was my thought was because right here. You see we broke through it on the daily and instantly took off. We didn't come back and test it. So that's why I thought, well, if it rejects this perfect pull up here at 7618, you know, coming back down here might not, you know, satisfy what I want with, right? And there's the Monte zone. So that's why I'm so confident with that level. And I have been, you know, I called 88. This is where I said I would go heavy into it, and I did. And then I said this would be where I'd be cautious. And once we had this rejection there out of this daily OB, I sold my spot because this was my thought. I didn't short it, even though I probably should have, because the stop was very close. But a lot of times, you know, expanded Bs, if that's what that is, do that. So if I had my stop here, get wrecked. So I didn't stop. Didn't short XRP. I got destroyed in 2018 or 2017 doing it. So it's one coin I don't really short, because when it moves, it moves. So here's, for me, why I have that alert. XRP leverage for financial freedom and Ferraris, because then the target's going to be much higher once we break out of this. So, I mean, I could see it stopping here based off your chart and your pitchfork, but I would likely have to see it deviate below. Right, deviate below, tag that, come back above, and hold here at the 86, 87 area. And that would be my buy. I wouldn't trust it here, kind of in no man's land. This playlist is, I can post it, 1 second. So, I mean, that's my thought on XRP. Get down here to the 66 area, or, you know, you could hold the golden zone, but that's kind of just, like I said, in middle of no man's land based off what I've got. There's just air right here, right in between that level. You can see it blew through it here, held it there, but blew through it again. Slight consolidation, but the main support for me is right down below here. Deviate under, get back above, and I'll happily buy back at 87. All right. Do we have the first case of Omicron, or whatever the hell they're calling it? All right. Next, we've got Athen with LTCN. This is the Litecoin Trust Grayscale. So it's something you can buy in your IRA or E-Trade or anything like that. You can't really trade this. You can't trade it on crypto stuff, but this would be if you want to get some Litecoin in your IRA or Roth or anything like that, but I've got a chart for it. All right, so when we were, for the longest time, we were way up here in the 300s, 400s, 500s. And then we came all the way down to 13. And reason being was there was a huge premium, just like GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. But what happened was right around in here, I guess 2 million LTCN were unlocked that had been holding since the inception. And so they basically just, once they were unlocked, they just sold it on market because there was like a 500 to 1,000% premium to what it was against Bitcoin. And so they knocked it all the way down here, and I actually bought $13, which was right here. And it could have kept nuking because the way this was dropping, I was expecting to become a huge investor, right? And just come all the way, who knows where it would stop. But I trusted the Monte pool, number one, and then also I had, which one was this one right here? I had modified Schiff on this, and I basically was like, I want right in here, and lo and behold, it came. I actually posted in the group that I was buying it down here. A lot of people call me crazy, but it worked out. So now Ethan is trying to get in this, right? Because I talked to him and he said he was not going to buy it here, and obviously this is just sideways chop, so you want to make your money work for you and not buy something that's just sideways. I do think if you go to line chart, if you see, we made a new low on line, and I think this was purposeful. So for me, this is the third, the absolute rip of a third, fourth, fifth. Even though it just barely made a new low, for me, this is the low. So then, whereas most people would be counting this as either a full corrective mode, so therefore we're going lower, or this was a truncation, which for me, if y'all have seen me for a while, this is not a truncation for me. That's actually a new low on daily. So here's your fifth. Now if you want to start something, it's from this point. So if you want to do your Elliott, it's going to be here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Sam did a count on this the other day. It was either yesterday or the day before, but he has it in a leading diagonal that I think basically has this coming up, and then so they need to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to have an ABC, and that's your buy. All right, if that's what you want to do, then you buy the golden zone. Stop would then be, wherever you want to put it. I guess you could have it down under here. You could have it all the way underneath here, which would be in validation of our count. But let's see Ethan's thought process here. Right, so he needs to be in log, so he's got, right here he's got the pitchfork that I've got. Now he's got another one here. And I see your trading principle number 4 since it failed to reach, but I don't know, since for me this is the third, you'd be doing this off of a third, and then looks like the top of a C, and then the fifth. So unless you're just doing the 80% based off of a arbitrary points, I would say you'd be starting, even though it seems like it's responding somewhat, right? Gets out and rejects. I would be starting my pitchfork here off of a 1-2. So let's look at that. So this was his pull. All right, so he's saying failure to reach the median line is going to come in an equal or greater reaction than what got there. And we have moved away, but for me, again, third, top of a C, fifth. So for me, I would say, if I'm thinking 1-2, I would just be so we still failed to reach it. Just do it online. Likely same result. Both are 1405, so it doesn't necessarily matter, I guess. Double bottom, I guess it could be a 2, so tiniest of 1-2, so we'll do the first. That looks pretty good. Still failed to reach. But for me, this would be my 1-2. And then we'd be searching for the greater or grander 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you would do 0, top of the 1, and then whatever retrace we come down to. So shift, modified, you can see we deviated slightly, holding right here, and then of course post market because the market's closed now. We're still in. Let's go to daily again because this kind of messes up this pitchfork. He also noted that we have broken, right? So we consolidated underneath here. You can see we consolidated up into this median, popped up, rejected, 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 got above it. Now we're slowly pushing down. We're at the outer edge. And now we're just barely working out sideways. So thought process is now, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna get that 5. This is where you'd push up. Probably get everyone, oh look, Litecoin's going to $80. Hits that 5th wave, then comes back in the 3-wave move, right? So pretty sure that's what Sam had at. So be looking for that kick. Potentially then just look for POC, of course, a 50 or a 618. Also, I would mark off value area high, just depending on how high this goes. Because if this is our low, let's say we come all the way up here to the 35 resistance. We've got the Monte zone here. You've got the value area high right in our wave 2. Common, wave 2 area, but a lot of times leading diagonals come deep. So you might be looking there. I also have POC marked off by this marker here. So mainly my thoughts on that. I do think just once we break out of here and start moving up, then you can move these, right, the shift, right? We've worked in this now, so then we'd be working toward the median of this one, holding some parallels that we've shown, probably the second one, because you see that's where we fell from. Get over median, then we start to move again. Then you can work on original. Well, I guess it doesn't change it much, but out here is where you see the bigger move up. And I do think we'll see this 35, break 35, head for honestly 82. So I'm just holding this down from 13. Don't really care what it does now. It's not an account I trade too much. If you're looking for IRA or something like that for longer term, let this, and I guess you could get it now, but if we're looking potentially for 16, buying now at 18. All right, that's my thought process anyway. I don't want to see it fall back into this and start pushing toward this low again. I want to see it moving up and out. Get this RSI moving up. So good chart, Ethan. I know we've talked about it a lot, so you knew my thoughts on it, but same thoughts. Push for 35 at least. Well, I guess technically 25. The zero line here. Then we'll probably get that retrace back. Break 35. That's when we see the fun. Okay. All right. So this is Abdo, and he's got total market cap. So this is basically entire crypto market cap, including Bitcoin. So that's why it's upwards of, right now we're at 2.56 trillion. And he's got it basically, I can't change the time frame, but it looks like you've got a BC into a 2 here on a small time frame, and you've got a 1 A B C. That's really bullish, but I just look at this RSI on the daily. Kind of curling down. It's not above even the 50. For a move like this, after a 1-2, 1-2, 1 expanded beat to almost running flat, I would expect this to be pushing 70s, right? Because that's when you get the big moves. So the fact that it's curling under a 50, kind of worrisome. So let me pull it up. I do have so this is total 2, and it's not good. Granted, we haven't closed this daily yet, but this perfect pull right here. At a Monte pull golden zone. We've got 2.5 hours before daily closes, so still have some time, but what we need is a push up and test that on the other side, then push up for this median. All right, if we reject this and either come down here or ultimately lose this, look at the gap that we've got. Again, this is total 2, so this is an Abdos chart, but I've got a Monte fork, if y'all never heard me say that, but basically it's multiple pitchforks. But you can see how this OG pitchfork all the way down there up to here, and how we have held it here, right? We just rode it up, pushed off, tagged the deviation, rode it up, tagged it up, and now we're hitting to the point of, all right, we hit our ceiling, we hit our head on the ceiling. Now is this slope, are we going to accept this slope and we're going to push off again where it would look like that? Let me see if I can do this. I don't use it very often. Bars pattern. There we go. Right, is that what we're going to expect to happen? Where we just continue to ride this and push off before coming back and tagging it again? Or eventually are we going to break it? And we get that bigger move down. And that's what healthy markets do. They don't just grind up forever unless you're the Fed and you can print and just buy stocks to never let them fall. So that's just my thought. We've got the median above that reacted here, pushed us down here. Are we going to push above and then we can expand? Right, you've got the expansion now. Then you can move up. Or modified pitchfork, are we going to lose this and now grind this one on a different slope before we gain this? Inside pitchfork, you can see we're riding that median. Resistance, support, lost it, support. All right, well, we've got this is a 3 days, so basically 77 days of room sideways before there needs to be some decision. You can see there's just so much. That's why we've consolidated so long. And I think everyone was thinking, oh, we need to expansion, but we do have more supports down below. All right, my thought on total 2. Now let's do total. So this was all-time high over here in May. Our previous all-time high at 17 is way down here, so. And a guy I respect on Twitter, Crypto Says, at Crypto Says, he does some pretty good Gantt stuff in time, and he had these levels, so I just marked them out and of course gave him some credit. But he says that's where our next, as long as we hold in this area, that's our next target, which is basically another 1 trillion above us, which kind of makes sense if it's just going to be, you know, just some sideways until up. When we expand, we could hit the outer point of this big pitchfork, and that pitchfork is right there from the proposed 0, you know, 0, 1, 2 COVID drop. Now turn this one off, and I've got 2 different ones. So I've got a Monte fork line, which basically I use line chart, so you can see I don't care about the wicks. So that median, that outer edge, scary thing with this is look down below. If we lose this area, right, that was pretty scary, but we ended up gaining it. So now are we going to hold this if we retrace just a little bit? Because if we don't, %, potentially 30% to this next support. You're going to have 3 of them down here, but if it goes toward this twist, it's not as much support as it would be if it hit over here. So that's the line. Wick is a little different. We're hitting our head, but all of our supports 30% down. 34, 35, up to 40% down. So this is what when I started this, I said, if you don't know, this is not the time to be in the market guessing. Because if this starts to drop, it's going to be like over here, where you don't have time to say, all right, I'll get out here on this retest. It's just going to keep going because everyone's thinking up or wanting up. So it's going to punish people. And if you drop 30, 40%, we would have a ton of support. That could then push us up through this, probably through his levels, up into these upper targets. That being said, if we do hold here and we come up, get above here, and we hit this, Crypto Says level, then come back, lose this, then we would get, potentially touch here, which would be a good support level. You'd be hitting it here instead. Instead, if we drop right now, we'd be hitting it right in there. So that's a $500 billion difference. I'd prefer this one, right? Because you'd make more gains quickly. Long, of course, which I do have plenty of long spot holdings. This would give us quicker buys, I guess, below, because it would definitely take the elevator down, not the stairs. So it looks like Abdo sent me lower time frame what he was thinking. Oh, not that one. This one. So expanded flat for a 2. After 1 2 1 2 1 2. So yours is just bullish as shit from here. I don't love doing these on the intraday because it's just, I mean, it's so hard to, it's the whole crypto market. I mean, how to sit there and say whole crypto market, here's what it's going to do on 30-minute time frame is tough. Normally work. There we go. So it's saying we're at POC right now, based off of all this consolidation. So where's Bitcoin? It's getting close. Of course, I'm looking for it. Right in here, so we still have a little bit more to go.
A young, stupid kid who committed that terrible crime. I want to talk to him. I want to try to talk some sense to him. Tell him the way things are. But I can't.
So if we lose POC,
attention, you have moved into a universe that never existed. Last century will accompany you. Have a nice trip.
hang on. Messed up my queue. Had a queue up and it messed up. So anyway, if we lose this POC, then I potentially the old all-time high. But value area low potentially as we squeeze down, push some alts lower. We do have another support underneath, so definitely had a big point here. Are we going to hold this consolidation range, or are we going to drop out? You see we stopped right at, on the 4 hour, we stopped, literally hit our head on the value area high. Coming into POC. Guess these are the 3 areas I'll be watching. And obviously with total, it's up to Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does is what happens here. All right, so that's my intraday thoughts. You wanted the lower time frame. That's really all I can give. I don't think there's a ton more I can do. Rejected out here. So if we're going to hold here, we're going to have to just consolidate and get through this speed fan here, the Monte zone of the speed fan. So far we've rejected from it twice. Where I would buy some alts, likely add to Bitcoin or go heavier into Bitcoin, would be if we were to drop down, hit the golden zone of the speed fan, reject POC, and then come down quickly and get to the Monte zone of the speed fan and then the value area low. Because then your stop is basically if we close underneath here, so it's not too terrible. A couple of percent. So it's a good risk to reward of breaking out and pushing out of this zone up into these areas. So far, it's just a straight rejection. All right. You also asked for ES1. I haven't looked at it at all. And it looked like a nuke today. I guess 11. So here, 10 o'clock's Powell talked. Up. Nuke. So, I mean, intraday, how do you... We're already closed. So futures are still open, aftermarket trading, but how do I enter intraday? What do you want? I don't know. I mean, get nuked. There's insane down volume. Daily MACD is now turning for the first time since 1st of October. 3-day MACD turning down. Weekly MACD turning down. Monthly curling. I mean, this would, to me, this is just, don't even think about touching a long button. Don't touch green button at all. Because on the daily, you would have wanted to hold right there and you closed underneath it. Purposefully looks like it pushed underneath that. After rejecting the area that it needed to hold. So I mean, I don't know what to say, I guess. I wouldn't trade it. I mean, if you want to look for shorts on the retests, straight to a 50. I'd be a bit puckered to say 50 is going to hold, we're going to the algo. I certainly wouldn't advocate that. We would have to regain 45.16 on the daily for me to say that. Everything looks, based off of these indicators, looks like the momentum is going to increase to the downside. Yeah, so here's regular trading hours. What we did on the 15 minutes directly after it lost this, right before we closed the trading hours. We hit the 50 and we rejected, or I guess we tested that daily that we needed to hold. So now extended trading hours, we've just worked off of it. So it would be interesting to see if it's going to test overnight and then dump in the open in the morning. So that doesn't bode well for this in my mind. Right, you might get this if we lose this. I'd be watching out below. All right, that's total and CME. We've got SUSHI from Scam. I think I talked about order blocks in one of my videos. I know I've talked about it in some of my live streams. But I think I covered it in one of my Monty Magic video, I think. It's on Vimeo, so you can look at that now that you're educational. So Scam sent this last night and said sushi's interesting at these levels. And I said I agree. I was watching it pretty closely. So he's got an 887 from this move. And 236 perfect tap from this move. So it hit the algo off of golden zone right here. Alright, so let's look at it. I haven't watched it much today. Oh, wrong chart. This is specifically for this one. Get this one hit. And basically I pulled that off of line. The initial. I didn't do these off of line, but I did do the initial.
Batuque brasileiro, na onda tem poder, bate meu coração, ritmo da canção. Batuque brasileiro, na onda tem poder, bate meu coração, ritmo da canção. Batuque brasileiro, na onda tem poder, bate meu coração, ritmo da canção. Batuque brasileiro, na onda tem poder, bate meu coração, ritmo da canção. Batuque brasileiro, na onda tem poder, bate meu coração. But
So I'm changing this from a monthly like I had it to a 6 month, because that's going to be a much bigger resistance. This is a 3 month and another 3 months. So now I can go back to daily and see if we've So even though we get the lowest wick here, based off of the candle close, this is our low. I like both of them. So originally I pulled this one, right? Because when I first see this with a quick swipe, I don't think 4th, 5th, I think A, B. WX. And so what I do is I look for fibs and how price is reacting to it. So first thing I see, I pulled this and I saw this. I instantly saw the tag of the golden zone holding the 50. And then how we rejected golden zone, came down to these important levels, regained the Monte zone, 6 month golden zone, and then holding here. So I mean, right where it's at, it's still pretty big, 10%. So this is a 4 hour, we got a 4 hour order block here. That I could potentially see rejection down to this weekly. Tag it and go, right? And then you'd have your potential sideways move to get out of here. So far it all just looks so 3-wave, but ABC, so I don't love it, but we're just trying to see if it's going to make it out of this. If we can get above 816, if we can break above and come back and retest this 6 month zone, then I could make that a case. If we come down here, I could buy this because the stop's so close. So on arithmetic is where Scam got his perfect tag right here. Down, golden zone, tag. And that changes my fibs just a little bit to where now it's just a headache. So if we're able to come out and still retest this, I'd happily buy it. But it would have to look something like this. And you'd be buying here with likely a stop under here. Then I'd be looking for a move to go back. Probably to 14. To 16 to this perfect pull, and then ultimately get up top. We'd be up here. All right. Messy, I know. That's what you have to do to find an entry. Al Nawi, you asked for BCH but no chart. You still should try. Not everyone can do what I do, but they still try. So I've somewhat kept a tab on BCH, but we've fallen out and rejected this 6-month OB. You can see headache, support, headache, headache. So now we fall down and test this zone here, or even yearly open if markets really want to get ugly, because we have not tested yearly open since it opened. We've got big resistance here, 683. If it can get into this, right, and get on the other side, then it can go up, but it's still going to hit its head on Monte zone of the speed fan. So it needs a big push. So far, holding these macro value area highs 6 months and 3 months. If you lose 518 though, you've got a pretty good chance for a drop, at least down to minimum 445. Likely 400, continuing to yearly open. So value area high tag right here. Been hammering the POC. Value area low right on top of that monthly order block. So all right, a couple of the ones we looked at last week, someone pointed this out to me last night, was I think we were right in here last week. Let's see, 20. Let's see. 24th. Yeah, we were right in here. We had just gained value area high, and I said we need to hold this to push up to 885. And what happened was we pushed up, created a new high. So likely A, B, C, came down, tagged POC perfectly, regained value area high, and pushed off. So now I'm wanting to hold over here in this drop and continue to push up. Alice. Did I keep my work? Yeah, I think I did. There we go. So Alice was a request from Mark, and he donated for it before he joined. But basically I said if we come up here, I think we were right here, 24th. We came down, swept the highs, rejected ultimately. And we followed the red line basically perfectly. Got a little deeper. The first move down caught all my orders, and then we got it hung up on the golden zone. Came back down lower, swept these lows into the weekly, monthly OB, and now we're pushing up again. So I'm going to reset this macro value area high. So if it comes back down again, I'd be watching to see if it holds for a potential buy, because now that I'm not in this, because I sold. Once we rejected here, I sold. Bought again down here, sold. And I actually missed this retest here. But I guess technically it broke out and it's holding this weekly OB. So if it holds this daily, gets above 2150, that's when we can start pushing. So Monte pool algo 50. So it's likely a 382 of the full. Where's that? No, it's sitting at, yeah, it is sitting at the 382. Right at it. So next push would be previous all-time high way over here. Daily and golden zone. So maybe we'll start digging ourselves out unless the market falls tonight. ADA was another we looked at, and I had basically said worked out the area 24th. You were right in here, just losing this. Tagged value area high, bounced, rejected, and came down to golden zone. But I've got a 6-month and a monthly OB sitting at 138, with the potential for it to come all the way down to 120s. NVAX. I looked at that one. I said I'd wanted it 227, and I know Grant messaged me and said he either got the perfect entry or did not get stopped out, because he was going to have his stop just above here. And I said I'd rather look for 227, and it got to 228, 229 even, and is now starting to lose. So we need that to now lose this yearly order block, and then that would lead to these moves down. First is to lose yearly open, but if the market starts to melt down, we would get it for sure. One USDT. This one hadn't done much, so nothing much to update there. But overall, good week in the markets for me. I'm not holding anything, right? I'm just buying levels and selling resistance because that's all you can really do in this chop when you've got markets that are just trying to decide whether or not we're going to hold or dump or pump. It's just, if you're a trader, you get in, you get out, and you wait to see what happened. This will be my last one because now this is hour and a half. I do think if we push down, it's likely a sideways, right? So this would have been a whole correction in itself, right? Whether or not we come over here, we do a running flat like crypto likes to do, or where we get the move sideways, or we go even further. I don't think we come down here, right? Because that's like 275 billion. But I could see this. Then I think we continue to move, right? Because if you look at alt to Bitcoin charts, they're coming out of accumulation from 2-3 years. So I do think if we do this, it sets up for much bigger moves. I think this would be healthy, even though it would suck in the near term, because this would come to basically January. Then we would push out and have much bigger, right? So then going from 600 million to 6 trillion, that I love that. People hate corrections, but it's healthy for the market. I mean, I hate corrections too because they're so hard to trade. But with this perfect move off of this perfect pull, and it being a daily golden zone, music stop again. Right. I mean, that's just, we have to hold here and now. You can't have any acceleration. Else, to me, that's just ugly. So, KU coin. Yeah, I mean it. Definitely pushed up, but now it's rejecting. So that daily closes as an hour and 40 minutes, and that's going to be nasty. Cannot lose this. Really, you don't want it to lose that. And monthly open. Is right where it's sitting at. So it needs to hold right here and push. And preferably get above 27, but I wouldn't be worried as long as it holds that one, 2680. If it loses that, then yeah, likely was sweep of the high and start to drop. Lose 2320 and you're hurting. All right, guys. Hour 40. Late stream. I'm gonna go. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'm gonna call it. I will be updating in the server. Again, if you're not in the server and you want to be, this is the time to take advantage. These are our biggest discounts all year. We will be having some, of course, New Year, but they're not going to be this big. So now's the time to take advantage, and I'll be happy to help you out in server. If not, then we'll see you Bitcoin Friday, and ultimately see me again next week with Sam on Monday morning. All right, y'all be good. We'll see you next time.